All of the other nations help to destabilize our communities, and then they come into our communities and look at us as if we haven't been doing enough as a nation of people. Today I'm going to be reading from the book of Psalms, chapter 83, you guys, because what I found very interesting and what I've been able to observe over time to see that this is in fact true is that all of the other nations were in league together. They were all in on it. They all split up and divided the conquered empire of our people, and then they divided up the booty and the prize and divvied it out to one another, and have been keeping this a secret from us for several generations into the millennia, you guys. And a millennia is about 1,000 years, right? They were all in on it. Many of the other nations actually voted for Trump, and then what did he do in response as a payback to them? He packed their asses up and shipped their asses home, didn't he? Yep. That's what we call, ladies and gentlemen, judgment. Whenever you do things to curse and do things that are underhanded against the children of Israel, you yourselves will be cursed as a nation of people. This is not just about an individual thing. Yeah, maybe somebody smiled in your face and gave you a steak dinner. However, when we're talking about judgment, this is a national issue. It is an international issue. And the Bible actually wrote about this thousands of years ago. Okay, so let's go ahead and read Psalms 83. My bad for the long intro, but I had to preface this before I even begin to read the scripture. Here we go. Starting at 83:1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. Now, let me explain something about the Psalms. The Psalms were to be sung, okay? I'm going to continue on to verse 2 down, okay? For lo, thine enemies make a tumult like a stir-up, an uproar. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. That's a phrase to mean that they lifted up the head, meaning in pride. These motherfuckers is proud about conquering our nation of people. Here we go. Continuing on at 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And in the Paleo Hebrew, Israel would be actually pronounced something to the nature of Yasharallah. Okay? I'm going to continue at 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. Okay, now from 6 down, it actually goes to list the nations of people that were involved in this confederacy against the house of Judah and the children of Israel, you guys. These nations that are listed in this book are still in effect and are still in existence. Okay, these people have been against us, and they knew that they were against us. What do you think you call it? What do you call it? A UN, a tri-blogger commission? Does any of those commissions involve the people of the what you call global South? No. As a matter of fact, whenever you have politicians from the global South that appear at a lot of these conventions, they're treated as if they're second handmaids, right? They are loaded up in buses while the other nations of people who were confederate against us arrive in luxury cars, right? Appearing as royalty. Isn't that correct? I'm telling you, there's something in the way that a person treats you, man. However it is that they treat you, that is how they treat you, and that is who they are, and that is exactly what they think of you. That is their perspective on you. They think of us as inferior to them. And as a matter of fact, in many of the languages, especially in the Arab-speaking countries, they still refer to us as Abid. Do you guys know what Abid is? Spelled A-B-D. Abid means slave. So they think of you as nothing more than a slave. And it stands to reason because when you look over there in that area north of East Africa, especially in what's happening in the Sudan, who is the perpetrator? It is those that call us Abid, right? This is what those Arab-speaking countries, especially the pale Arabs, mind you, we have to make a distinction between the pale and the dark Arab. Because the original Arabs were a dark-skinned people. And as a matter of fact, there was one word that was used to describe their skin pigment, and that is, I believe it's asmar. Aswad. It's one of those words, okay? Look it up. Aswad. It's either one of the two. And another word to depict them is kadad. And as a matter of fact, The Ishmaelite people, or aka the Arabs is what we call them today, those people are the product of two black people, might I say. Okay? And I'm going to use that term aptly and profusely, as it is a political term. I'm going to use it as a political term. They were so-called black, what you would consider black. We're talking about Abraham that lived in Ur of Chaldea. All right. He lived amongst what? Canaanites? And the Canaanites of ancient times, not how they are depicted in Hollywood films, were a dark race of people. Had to be. And the Ishmaelites' mother, the woman who bare Ishmael, one of the sons of Abraham, was an Egyptian handmaiden. I'll tell you that the people of Egypt in ancient times were a so-called black people, and oftentimes the Israelites were confused with the Ishmaelites or with the Misraimites or the Egyptians. They were confused from one another all throughout the Bible. Even Paul was confused for being an Egyptian. When King Herod put out the edict to kill all of the firstborn of Israel, what did they do? What did Jesus, Mary, and Joseph do? They fled into Egypt. Why? Because they looked similar in appearance. The people that are there occupying that territory now are nothing more than descendants of invaders of that area, you guys. We have to be clear of that. Most of them stemming back to Grecians, Romans, or Persians, okay? The original people of the Northeast Gate, or Northeast Africa, or North Africa all encompassed, which includes Libya, Algeria, Morocco, Egypt, and I already mentioned Algeria. I can't think of the other one. But all of those North African territories, and then we get into this discussion about only dark-skinned Africans come from what? Sub-Saharan Africa. Oh, they're from Sub-Saharan. Every time that they see a dark-skinned African, or when we depict the Egyptians as they looked in ancient times, here comes some dumb motherfucker talking about, oh, well, yeah, but those are Sub-Saharan Africans and the North Africans. No, you got to understand that North Africa was invaded and heavily populated by Muslims, Arabs, right? That was not so in the ancient time. The ancient Nilotic people, meaning the people that lived along the Nile, were a so-called black race of people, aka Moors. Many of them called Berbers, Amazigh, and those terms are synonymous for one another. Okay? So, let's read this again. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head in pride. I'm adding that, but they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. Cut them. So we were cut off from being a nation. We were sent into captivity. We were dispersed into all four corners of the earth, you guys. There are, our people are all over the place. There are Israelites everywhere on the globe. Some speaking fluent Arab, some speaking fluent French, some speaking fluent German. However, their blood lineage goes back to a man by the name of Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel. There's more on this, you guys, but this is probably going to be in a part series. So this will be part one of this same thing, this discussion about Psalms 83. Yeah, so they were all Confederate. When they came into our neighborhoods here on the Western Hemisphere in the Americas, what did they do? They didn't seek to help us. We were going through all manner of attack, and we were the people that were in bondage working in plantations, you guys. When they came here, our condition was such that we were trying to rectify hundreds of years prior of captivity and unpaid labor and human rights abuses, you guys. You got to understand that there was some of the most heinous crimes committed against a group of people right here in the Western Hemisphere. And I'm talking about North, Central, and South America and the adjoining islands. Okay? This caused such a split and such a fracture in our people, our nation of people, whom are Israelites. All of the 12 tribes of them, right? I'm talking about non-Spanish descendants, non-Portuguese descendants, non-Hamitic descendancy. Okay? As I was stating before, these other nations were Confederate. They came here and they took all of the benefits and did absolutely nothing to help the people. They came here, and what did they do? They opened up their shops, right? They opened up their little supermarkets where they sell pork that they don't even eat. It's not permissible to eat pork in their way, right? And you know what I'm referencing. I'm kind of speaking in code a bit, but I mean, I've pretty much said it prior to this, from this point. Many of them came into our neighborhoods and opened up motels, right? Right. While at the same time, we had been suffering from years of genocidal attacks. So these other people were Confederate in this, and they did absolutely nothing to help us. It says that we would go into bondage and none would buy us, meaning that they wouldn't relieve us from the attacks that have been going on and actually war campaigns against our people. No, they didn't do that. The only thing that they sought to do was come here and make profit off of our misery, you guys. Now, I have to say it clear and plain because somebody's got to say the shit. The brothers is talking. Look, the word is out. The secret is out, man. We are all 12 tribes, are the Israelites of that Bible. And when you look at your life's conditions and you start to read the Bible and read some of the conditions that the people and the children of Israel were under in ancient times whenever they went into captivity to the other nations, you can make the clear distinction and comparison between your life now as a so-called black man, a so-called Negro, a so-called Hispanic, right? In the favelas of Brazil, right? In the barrios, yeah? Right? In those boroughs, in the New England territories, you guys can make a clear distinction and comparison between yourselves and your ancient fathers of old. I'm going to cut this video at this point so that this can be maybe a part 2 and a part 3. There's a lot to unpack here, guys. So stick with me. Make sure to hit the like button, share, comment, blah, blah, blah. Boy, out.